Hello, I'm Maisie D and you're watching Bare Essentials. This week, Parliament voted in favour of an increase in university tuition fees. Computer hackers lashed out at large companies including Amazon, Mastercard and PayPal after they withdrew their support from internet site WikiLeaks. BAE Systems have announced that they have to scrap over 1,400 jobs in the United Kingdom, blaming the government's defence cuts following the defence review in which both the Nimrod and Harrier aircraft were cancelled. And Paul Gascoigne stays out of prison despite being caught over 4 times the legal alcohol driving limit in a car. Last night, the government's plans to triple tuition fees were passed by a much reduced majority of 323 to 302, while outside protesters continued to object. Some protesters even targeted a car containing Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, smashing one of its windows as they travelled to this year's Royal Variety performance. The royal car was attacked as protesters broke through the police motorbike escort surrounding the car where many proceeded to kick the vehicle. One eyewitness commented that the police tried to protect the royal couple as best they could, but there were just too many people. Violent clashes between police and protesters continued throughout the night, with some rioters breaking into the Treasury demanding their money back. Prior to the vote, Mike Crockett, the Liberal Democrat MP for Edinburgh West, quit as private parliamentary secretary to the Scottish Secretary Michael Moore because he could not vote for a system which he believed puts barriers in the path of students. In total, 3 ministerial aides resigned last night. Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg has faced rising criticism over his party's apparent U-turn over tuition fees, and some opposition members have gone as far to say that the close result last night could well be the catalyst which helps to unhinge the so far tight coalition government. Clegg defended himself by insisting that he had to deal with the world as it was, not simply dream of how he'd like it to be. Business Secretary Vince Cable added that he'd like to be Father Christmas and spend lots of money, but government was more about making difficult decisions. Labour leader Ed Miliband has remained non-committal over Labour's official line on tuition fees. He would only comment that he thought the decision was wrong, but that he's not going to fall into the Liberal Democrat trap of making promises which he's not sure he's then able to keep. He added, the Swedish government's own website has been the latest victim in a series of attacks by computer hacking group Anonymous in retaliation to what they feel is targeted opposition to the WikiLeaks site driven by the American government. Amazon, Visa, Mastercard, PayPal and Swiss bank PostFinance have already been targeted along with Sarah Palin's own website. The group are primarily organising their attacks through online forum 4chan, and Twitter and Facebook have already closed down accounts which encouraged people to participate in these demonstrations, namely flooding websites hoping to exceed the maximum number of users in order to cause the programs to crash. These statements follow concerns raised earlier in the United States about WikiLeaks' plans to release information that they felt would put their armed forces at risk, and the coincidental reinvestigation into alleged sexual attacks performed by WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange in Sweden, following the release of the information on the website. Anonymous has made the following comments on their blog. The message is simple: freedom of speech. Anonymous is peacefully campaigning for freedom of speech in all forms. They later added that regardless of what you think or have to say, Anonymous is campaigning for you. Mr. Assange is fighting extradition from Britain to Sweden and is likely to appeal after he was denied bail by the City of Westminster magistrates. BAE have announced job losses in Lancashire, Greater Manchester, Moray, Ayrshire, Hampshire, Rutland and Somerset, blaming the spending review's plans to cut the defence budget by 8% over the next 4 years. Both the Harrier and Nimrod aircrafts have been cancelled, causing BAE to go back on their plans to keep the Woodford site open well into 2012. BAE said the job cuts were designed to ensure that we remain competitive as we actively pursue a number of opportunities for our products both in the United Kingdom and internationally. The Unite Union has labelled the announcement a tragedy for the workforce and for Britain and called on the government to rethink its defence plans. The coalition government's Christmas present to over 1,000 skilled workers supporting Britain's armed forces is the sack, added National Officer Bernie Hamilton. National Officer at the GMB, Keith Hazelwood, commented that it was a devastating blow for the UK manufacturing and the local communities affected. He says his union would look to see if any of the workers could be redeployed to other projects, including green and space programme ideas. And finally, the economy remains steady with a 0.5% increase for the 6th month in a row. Thank you for watching Bare Essentials. I've been Maisie D. I'll see you all next week. Bye.